What's up, YouTube? It's your boy John from Project Ellsworth. It's Tuesday again. That means it's time for me to show you guys another section of my collection. Let's get it. All right, this week we are focusing on Row 1, Section 4, which is this guy right here. Give me 1 second, I'll get these pulled. So as usual, I hope everybody out there is doing well and staying safe. Let's get right to it. First up, we have American Horror Story Cult. This is the most recent season that I own. I know that there was another season that came out last year, and that's the only one that I don't own. I will be picking that up. I'm actually kind of surprised that I didn't get that for Christmas. This usually American Horror Story winds up being a Christmas present from my wife every year. This one was pretty good. It was politically based, but good nonetheless. I'm not a big political guy. I really don't care for politics very much. All right. Next up is, everybody I'm sure out there knows this. This is American Psycho. Christian Bale. Wealthy Maniac. Pretty good movie. Pretty gory. What else we got? All right. Next up is the 1970s classic, the Amityville Horror. I just did the top 20 for 2020 list for Joe the Horror Man and Jason from Horrific Nightmares. Top 20 70s movies, top 20 favorite 70s movies. And this movie made my list, but I am not a big fan of the Amityville Horror. I never have been. I do like it. I've seen it several times. But the remake that they made years ago, I thought was far better than this movie was. Margot Kidder, James Brolin, very good. Just not a big fan of that movie. And next is a whole bunch of movies that I have not seen, primarily based on the fact that I didn't like the Amityville Horror. I have all of the Amityville Horror movies. Amityville 3D. Let's see what this one says. It's reading time, kids. That's a lot of reading. The gateway to hell is always open. The home of unspeakable evil is back to torment all who cross its threshold. That's about enough. I don't feel like reading all this. It's quite a bit. Being lazy. Yeah, I was just not a fan of Amityville Horror for whatever reason. I have Amityville Horror Possession. Then there is Amityville Horror, It's About Time. Quite possibly the silliest name for a movie I've ever seen. Amityville, The New Generation. That's a name, like a sub name that has been used a million different times in horror movies. New Generation, Next Generation. Alright, Amityville Dollhouse. I actually heard this one was pretty good, but I've never spent the time to watch it. One of these days I'm going to watch every single one of these movies, do an individual ranking for each one of these movies, an individual review for each one of these movies, and then I'll rank the franchise, and my gut tells me then I will be done with Amityville Horror. This is the one I did like, the remake with Ryan Reynolds. I thought this movie was great. I thought he was fantastic in this movie. He was genuinely scary, genuinely creepy. This was just, in my opinion, a far superior movie than the original Amityville Horror was. This movie, I saw the trailer for this movie on DVDs that I own seemingly an endless number of times, and I finally bought it. Couldn't tell you why, probably because of that damn trailer. The Awakening, Amityville The Awakening. I kept seeing the trailer for this thing over and over and over and over, and one day I saw it in Best Buy. I said, you know what? I don't like Amityville. I'm not buying this movie. And then a few months would go by, and the price would drop a little bit, and finally the price point got to under $10, I believe. I have to assume that that's what it was, or I probably wouldn't have bought it. And I finally bought the thing. I literally brought it in the house, took unwrapped it, and stuck it on that shelf, and that's where it's been since the day I bought it. But like I said, one of these days I'm going to rank those movies, and I have a feeling that other than the remake, I'll probably be done with them. Unless maybe Amityville The Awakening is a better product than the other ones. Lord only knows. Only time will tell, and I guess I'll eventually get to them. Alright, next up is Anaconda. I actually really enjoyed Anaconda. I thought this movie was really cool. Look at Jennifer Lopez. She almost looks like she doesn't have any eyebrows. Looks strange as hell. Good movie. Giant snake movie. Gotta love it. And this movie, Anacondas, is the direct sequel to Anaconda. Go figure. I haven't watched this one yet. I just recently bought this movie. It was on one of my haul videos. I believe maybe my first haul video. This movie was the second haul video. This movie was on there. So, bought it recently. That's no excuse either, but that's the only one I got. Donald Sutherland, Sissy Spacek, American Haunting. This I did watch. It's been several years since I've seen this, too. I think that the last time I saw this movie was right after it came out. So, yeah, American Haunting. Next up, American Mary. This movie is wonderful. If you have not seen this movie, and you can find it, check it out. Soska Sisters made this movie. Really, really good. Catherine Isabel. She's the girl who played one of the two main characters in Ginger Snaps. Fantastic movie. Disturbing movie. Very different movie. Everything about that movie is very different. I think you should check it out. Alright, next up is one of my all-time favorites. I might as well do these two together. It's American Werewolf in London. Blu-ray copy and then the restored version of the movie. The restored copy is absolutely gorgeous. This movie is absolutely inside of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. It is absolutely, without argument, in my opinion, the greatest werewolf movie that has ever been made. I absolutely love it. That's one of those examples where there's comedy and horror that I actually like. But the gore in that movie, the werewolf transformation in that movie is absolutely legendary by Rick Baker. John Landis directed that movie. That movie was, it resulted in Michael Jackson actually contacting John Landis to direct the video for Thriller. I'm sure a lot of you know that, but I'm sure not all of you know that. Really good movie, absolutely legendary, definitely made an imprint on me. Next up is the exact opposite of that, An American Werewolf in Paris. I thought that this movie was okay, but if this movie didn't exist, and this movie maybe was called something else, maybe I would like this movie significantly more than I do. But let's face it, after American Werewolf in London, this was just, come on. Much too big of shoes to fill, and name the movie something else and maybe you have a shot. Just my opinion, folks. Alright, next up is Anatomy. I do believe that I watched this movie, but that has been quite a while. Let me see. When Paula, a brilliant, ambitious medical student, is accepted into a prestigious anatomy class taught by a legendary professor, it seems like a dream come true. But her school days soon turn to nightmares when several of her fellow classmates turn up dead in the university's morgue. Puzzled by the bizarre deaths, Paula soon uncovers the secret medical society whose members perform grisly autopsies on human subjects while they're still alive, and is plunged into a chillingly macabre world from which no one escapes to tell their terrifying truth. I'm pretty sure I saw this. Is this German? I don't know. I think I saw this, and I do remember this being a pretty cool movie. Watched it on a rainy day. One day I just decided to pull that out. Here is another one that I actually recently pulled this off my shelf to do a review of this movie, and for whatever reason it managed to find its way back on the shelf without me watching it. Antiviral. If I'm right, I believe that is the kid who was in the Exorcism, or the Last Exorcist. The Last Exorcism. The Last Exorcism. Sorry. The Last Exorcism. He was a girl's brother in that movie. This movie was pretty cool. I remember the trailer for this movie being pretty cool. It looks very interesting. And like I said, I pulled this movie very recently to review it. And I don't know what happened. Somehow this managed to get back on the shelf. That was like 2 weeks ago. I got to pull that again and get it scheduled. I've now started I went and bought myself a planner and have started to create a schedule to get this stuff done, because my mind tends to tell me to watch this movie and this movie and this movie and unbox that and go shopping here and go eat that. So I'm trying to get everything down on paper so that I will have a plan to try and stick to. I've already changed it once today. Unreal. All right, next up, this is the last one this week. Paranormal Activity in just about every way possible, but with more action. Apartment 143. I do believe I watched this as well. And I think that this was a pretty damn creepy movie. But again, it's been a long time, and I've watched a whole hell of a lot of paranormal movies before and after this one. So it kind of bleeds together sometimes, but I'm pretty sure that this was a pretty creepy-ass movie. So, Apartment 143. All right, folks, that's it. That is Row 1, Section 4. If anybody out there wants me to do a review of any of those movies, leave it down in the comments section. If you have any questions or comments, again, leave them down in the comments section. I answer everything anybody ever sends me. All right, I'm going to get out of here. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you really enjoyed the video and you've been enjoying my content, please do me a huge favor. Click that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Have a kick-ass day. And thank you for watching. Have a good night, everybody.